everybody. I'm Mike Gleason, and welcome as ESPN Classic presents Dwight Gooden's no-hitter in the 1996 American League matchup between the Seattle Mariners and New York Yankees. In 1995, the Yankees made the playoffs for the first time in over a decade when they faced the Mariners in the American League Divisional Series. However, the Bronx Bombers didn't get far as they were eliminated in 5 games. As a result, the Yankees made several moves to start the 96 season. One of the biggest and most controversial changes came when manager Buck Showalter was replaced by Joe Torre. Many believe Showalter, who was 313 and 268 in 4 years in New York, deserved a better fate. Torre had limited success during his tenure with the Mets, Braves, and Cardinals. However, Torre would prove to be exactly what the Yankees needed. Later in the show, we'll take a look at Dwight Gooden's journey to the Bronx. Right now, we present his no-hitter in the American League matchup between Seattle and New York on May 14th, 1996. Thanks for watching ESPN Classic.
The Yankees and Mariners played 5 for the ages last fall when drama rose and records fell. This one tapped the full range of emotions, and the roller coaster took Jack McDowell down, Edgar Martinez up, and the city of Seattle all the way to the top of the mountain from the bottom of the pile. When the Yankee emptiness subsided, some were gone, others sitting it out, as a former Yankee hero celebrated. Now, after some of the names jumped the fence, the rivalry is renewed with new plot twists. Who will write a storybook ending tonight when the Mariners meet the Yankees?
Here's a look at the batting order tonight for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Darren Bragg, Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, the American League batting champ, and Jay Buhner, Paul Sereno, Dan Wilson, Joey Cora, and former Yankee Russ Davis.
Doc Gooden in the field tonight. There's a first-timer in left. The first time that Ruben Sierra has played left field in Yankee Stadium. As Mike Crispino said, yes, it could be interesting. Gerald's in center because of Bernie's injury. Paul O'Neill in right. Around the infield, Wade Boggs and Derek Jeter. Robert Einhorn, the right-handed hitting second baseman, gets the start with Tino at first and Joe Girardi behind the plate. And Bernie, hi, Mom. Yep. He's not used to sitting on the bench, day-to-day situation.
In fact, Tim Raines had to point to him and say, Bernie, you're on. Smile, take advantage of it.
They know where that camera is.
So here we go with Darren Bragg, one of the many left fielders Seattle has used over the years to try to fill that position. And Doc Gooden's first pitch is taken for a strike by Bragg. Leadoff batters have reached base in about half the innings in which Gooden has pitched this year. Here's a sharp breaking pitch, and he jumps out ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Darren Bragg in this power pack lineup already with 3 homers.
He started the season with the Mariners, hit about $150. They optioned him down to AAA. He took advantage of it, came back, and he's been on fire, hitting over 400 since his return.
Another sharp breaking pitch inside to Bragg, who you might have seen chokes up a little bit on the bat. The on-deck man is Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop. Well, that'll give you an indication, perhaps, of the strike zone by our home plate umpire tonight. Dan Morrison. Gooden goes full to the leadoff batter, and Joe Girardi sends out the sign. And the leadoff man reaches base against Dwight Gooden.
Ooh, that's as painful a walk as you give up as a pitcher when you get the hitter 0-2 and then end up losing him to a base on balls. And here's the 2-2 pitch, the curveball. And may have broke just around the plate, in the opinion of home plate umpire Dan Morrison.
Well, let's put it in perspective now. This is the 34th inning that Gooden is pitching. 17 leadoff men have reached base, and 10 have come around to score. Alex Rodriguez with 1 on and nobody out. He takes a fastball, and ooh, that one is high.
Youngest player in the major leagues, just 20 years of age. And since he's moved up to the number 2 spot about 5 games ago, tells you how your at-bat could be affected by the guy in the on-deck circle.
He's an old man.
Jeter at 21, but Rodriguez is moving into the number 2 spot, hitting almost 500 with 3 home runs. And that's because with Ken Griffey Jr. in the on-deck circle, he's getting more fastballs to hit.
There is Jr. Rodriguez debuted in the major leagues at 18 years of age. Tony La Russa Rob and Yell were a couple of other 18-year-old shortstops. This time Gooden gets the called strike.
Yeah, if there's any example of players getting bigger and stronger in baseball today, here's two shortstops, Jeter and Rodriguez. Alex, 6'3", a little over 200 pounds. I mean, at the shortstop, middle infield position, and Derek Jeter, 6'3", about 190. He's going to be 200 before, you know, when he fills out completely.
That one misses inside, so now the count to Rodriguez is 2-1. Lou Piniella, very successful manager with the Seattle Mariners. In fact, the only Seattle manager with a winning record. And 4 more wins will be the all-time winningest Seattle Mariner.
We've got 2 managers that were outstanding hitters in the major leagues, and they're very offensive-minded. Have to see more hit and runs.
This ball is hit hard to straightaway center. A tough play for Gerald, and he gets it. Unbelievable. He stuck his glove up. Now the relay back to first. Double play. Bernie applauding that catch by Gerald Williams, who went straight back and stuck the glove up.
Wow.
And he caught it.
Man, watch Gerald turn the other way and reach up. I mean, that's Willie Mays-like going to the center field wall. That is as good a catch as you're going to see. He barely had sight of the ball, and then the throw to Jeter on target, and they get the double play easily. See, first he turns to his right and then has to turn to the backhand side and reaches over. Just got the ball in the webbing. And again, when they talked about Mays' great catch, the thing they talked about was the throw afterwards, and that also is what Gerald did. He turned through to Jeter right on target, and the double play was easy.
That was spectacular. I don't think he saw it at the last minute. He just stuck the glove up. And Griffey takes the off-speed pitch for a called strike. Got to get out my green pen now and highlight that defensive play. Wow, that was something. Here's a guy who knows all about making those kind of plays.
Well, the most difficult play to make for a center fielder is the ball that is hit right at you. See, and Gerald's been used to playing left, so when he went straight back, he didn't really know whether to turn to the right or turn to the left, and kind of got turned around just a bit, but reached out and caught it backhanded.
So the count to Griffey now is 2 balls and 1 strike. Gooden helped out by that spectacular double play. Falling behind Griffey 3-1.
It really bailed out Doc Gooden, because he has done what so many of the Yankee pitchers have done the last 3 starts, fall behind and walk people.
And he checked his swing, but not in time. So the count will go full to Griffey, who comes into tonight's game with 199 lifetime home runs.
And the first time that these 2 stars have had a chance to face one another.
Curveball, that one's high, and Gooden has walked his 2nd man of the inning.
We may see a bit of a different strike zone tonight. Remember the Chicago series here at the stadium? The first 2 games, Al Clark was behind the plate game 1, then Dan Morrison tonight's umpire in game 2. They called a lot of curveball strikes. See, now Joe Girardi caught that ball below the belt. And in the last game that Morrison umpired, he was calling a lot of those breaking ball strikes. Now that might just be one that he didn't call, but so far in this first inning, it appears that the curveball is not going to be called for a strike as easily in the last time he was back there.
Now the reigning American League batting champion, Edgar Martinez. And he's not exactly slacking off this year. He's at .336.
And he rains hits against the Yankees every time they play. .345 career average against New York.
That time he takes a strike. His last 8 at-bats, he's had 5 hits, and they've all been doubles.
And that's what he did against the Yankees last year. You have to go back to Darrell Evans. When Darrell Evans was a member of the Tigers, find someone who hit that many home runs in one season against the Yankees.
to right field. O'Neill hoping for a play, gets there just as he meets the warning track. Edgar Martinez uses the whole ballpark, and Doc Gooden used his outfielders. Gerald Williams bailed him out with a great catch, and the Mariners don't score in the top of the first. Now there's the sun setting in the west, streaming through the buildings over the McCombs Dam Bridge. And here's Sterling Hitchcock in his return to the Bronx, where as a New York Yankee, Sterling had a record of 16-15. Now you look at his numbers this season. He comes in 3-1 as a Seattle Mariner, facing Wade Boggs. And that is a strike.
And you may see Wade look at a... I said, what do you do when you face a pitcher that has been your teammate? You haven't hit much against him. He said, you look at as many pitches as you can.
Well, he's seen two. One's a strike, one's a ball. Sterling Hitchcock, 25 years old, native of Fayetteville, North Carolina. 4 complete games last year with the Yankees. Off speed, and Boggs lifts it in the air to right center field. Ken Griffey Jr. makes the catch, one away in the first inning for the Yankees. Following Wade Boggs in the Yankee batting order, it'll be Joe Girardi swinging a hot bat, then Paul O'Neill and Ruben Sierra, the cleanup man, Tino Martinez, the ex-Mariner, Jim Leyritz, Gerald Williams, Robert Einhorn, and Derek Jeter. Mentioned Girardi is hot. Last 29 at bats, he's had 13 hits. That pitch outside, ball 1. Girardi has his average now up to 284. Still without a home run. Kind of fisted that one, and it just makes the stands.
And when you look at the Yankee lineup with Bernie on the bench, who do you think leads the lineup in stolen bases? Joe Girardi. He has 5. He's yet to be caught.
Yeah, the running Yankees of Joe Torre. Hitchcock misses outside. It's 2-1. When Sterling Hitchcock was a Yankee last year, we often talked about his lack of picking up the target early in his pitching motion. Girardi went fishing. It's 2-2.
Good fastball there. And what Sterling, when he made the adjustment, and I recall the game he pitched against the Red Sox at Fenway Park, is when he quit bringing the hands up over the head. He keeps them in front of his body so he has the target in his sights at all times.
Again, he jams Girardi, this one to right center field, and a play for Jay Buhner, and an easy one. And there are 2 away.
The Mariners behind Sterling Hitchcock in the field tonight will have Darren Bragg in left field. He beat out former Yankee Louis Polonia in spring training. Then Ken Griffey Jr. in center, Jay Buhner in right. Alex Rodriguez, Joey Cora in the middle of the diamond. Paul Sorrento, formerly the Indians at first. Dan Wilson doing a great job catching. And Russ Davis, the former Yankee, getting a chance to play every day. He has made 4 errors, but it hasn't hurt the Mariners. They have allowed fewer unearned runs than any team in the American League, just 7.
O'Neill stepping out slightly against the lefty Sterling Hitchcock. You mentioned Louis Polonia. He is resurfaced as the left fielder of the Baltimore Orioles.
Yankees will see him in July.
Well, all the targets are out for O'Neill. 2-0 from Sterling Hitchcock. We're in the bottom of the first. 2 outs, no score. O'Neill leads the American League in hitting at .377. Ooh, he took a big rip at that.
Good live fastball. You know, O'Neill just the opposite of Boggs. Wade said, I'd like to see a lot of pitches tonight from Hitchcock just to get a read. I said to Paul, what are you going to look for against Hitchcock? He said, I've got no idea. You know, I haven't hit against him that much in batting practice. Just look for the ball and hit it.
At the knees. Ooh, that drew a quick response.
Yeah, one of the first hollow of the knee strikes we've seen called. That was supposedly the new strike zone in spring training. And you see right there the hollow of the knee was supposed to be the strike, and that's exactly where that was.
Pitching inside to O'Neill, he fouls it off, so we remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill has had only 1 game this year in which he failed to get on base via either a hit or a walk. And here it is, the batting leaders, Paul O'Neill, followed by Roberto Alomar, Jason Giambi of Oakland and Scott Brocious also in the A's. We'll see them next week.
Yankees get a break in the next couple of weeks. Baseball gets a bad break because so many of the good players are on the disabled list. And the Mariners are putting their ace left-hander Randy Johnson on the DL because of a back problem, so the Yankees won't see him in the next 10 days. And Scott Brocious, one of the league's leading hitters, still on the DL for Oakland.
O'Neill gets into this 2-2 and drives it deep to right. Buhner at the track, though, makes the catch. Didn't have that carry, and Buhner picks off 2 out of the air in the first inning, and Sterling Hitchcock works a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. We've played 1 and we're scoreless.
When the Yankees signed Dwight Gooden in 1996, he was far removed from his glory days with the Mets in the mid to late 80s. Gooden was coming off a 1-year suspension from baseball for substance abuse. Still, the Yankees took a chance on the former Mets ace. With more on Dr. K, here's Joe Morgan with a Vintage Sports Center conversation from 1996.
Is there anything about the Yankee mystique that you found out since you've been there that, you didn't know before?
I know it's tough getting a number. When I first signed the Yankees and I went to New York and I was asking for a number, I mean, they got a lot of retired jerseys. It's tough getting a number, and so I ended up telling Nick Ferrari, the equipment man, just give me whatever number available, but nothing too high.
Okay.
So I said,
when you walk to the mound now, how do you compare walking to the mound today with the way you walked to the mound in '84 and '85?
I think now it's definitely more work. It's definitely you have your work cut out for you now. Like 84, 85, especially 85, it felt like once I got in that groove, it was like when I came to the ballpark, you just won the ball, you just felt that, give me a couple runs, I know I'm going to win. Or sometimes you felt that if my team scored 3 or 4 runs, if I had a 3 or 4 run lead, instead of 5th or 6th inning, I'm kind of like rooting for my team to make the 3 outs so I can get back out on the field. Opposed to now, you just want to keep hitting, score 10, 15 runs if you can.
When you came back and you went to spring training, did you set any goals for yourself for this year?
Just being healthy, trying to stay consistent as I possibly can, and help the team win. I didn't have any numbers, no goals set for his numbers, especially, once I missed a year and a half. It just feels good to have the uniform on again. And like you say, maybe back then I took things for granted. I'm not saying I didn't appreciate the game, but I definitely appreciate the game a lot more today.
Gooden had a bumpy beginning in 1996, giving up 17 runs and 20 hits in his first 3 starts. Later in the show, we'll take a look at the similar paths of Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. Now let's return to Yankee Stadium and Doc Gooden's no-hitter from 1996 here on ESPN Classic.
We go to the second inning, and here's another former Yankee, Jay Buhner. Up to lead off for the Mariners, played with the Yankees 87, 88, hit 3 homers in the 88 season, and then was traded in what turned out to be a rather infamous trade. And Buhner, first ball hitting, pops it a mile high into short center field. Jeter calling off Gerald Williams and Ruben Sierra, and he makes the catch.
Ruben did the right thing. He said, take it, Derek, plenty of room, you got it. He's going to let him take all of those. That did have some hang time.
So Jeter records the first put out. Let's see how they played it.
You could just note how long it takes this ball to come down. Derek checks Gerald, and he said, stay out there, Ruben, I got it. Let the sure man have it.
Jeter is very good at going back on pop-ups that we have seen this year, especially in the center field. This pitch is low now to Paul Sereno, the former Indian who's come over, and all he's done is hit 10 home runs. He's got 10. Griffey has 10. Buhner has 10. Edgar Martinez only with 9.
In Cleveland, he was a platoon player, and of course the Indians acquired Julio Franco, felt that Paul was expendable. He platooned with Herbert Perry, right-hand hitter. Here he's getting a chance to play every day, and Dave, he's one of the fortunate ones, and not that a player doesn't earn it. 4 years in the major leagues, he's got 2 World Series rings already. The Twins in 91, and picked one up with the Indians last year. A winning ring and a losing ring, but to be in 2 World Series in 4 years is you have to be fortunate to be on teams like that.
Got to ask him which one he wears. I would have guessed he'd wear the winning ring.
I think so.
Gooden goes low to him with a count of 3-1. That's ball 4 now, and that's the third walk that Gooden has issued in this game.
Now, maybe the meeting, I don't know. You have meetings and players think too much about it, but Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre disturbed with the Yankees. Mike Crispino covered it on the scorecard show. Disturbed with the Yankees starters. They walked 15 men in 11 innings. Kamenicki, Rogers, and Pettit. And Joe trying to meet with the pitchers along with Mel Stottlemyre and get them to trust their stuff and be more aggressive and challenge early in the count with strikes. Doc is not doing it yet here tonight.
Well, Doc was bailed out in the first inning by a sensational catch turned into a double play by Gerald Williams. Then he walked Ken Griffey. Now Dan Wilson taking a strike. Wilson already with the 8 home runs is within 1 of his career high in a season. Sereno leading off. Off the end of the bat, this one to right field, and O'Neill waiting. A lot of fly ball outs early in this game. 2 away here in the Seattle second.
I guess we ought to expect that. We've talked about all the home runs these two teams hit in the division series last year, and then the Mariners leading the major leagues in home runs. You'd expect to see a lot of balls in the air.
Now, speaking of home runs, this player, Joey Cora, did not hit a home run in the major leagues until his 886th at-bat. He had 7 home runs in his whole career before this season, and now he's got, what, 3 already?
What does that tell you, I wonder? Yeah, he hit one in Game 5 off David Cohn early in Game 5 last year, but I think it tells you. I talked to Lou Piniella, great student of hitting, the Mariner manager. What do you think about all the scoring? You say, well, got a lot of young pitchers. You got some veteran hitters. You know, combine those two things, and then nobody wants to say the ball is really purposely juiced up, but it is wound tighter. when you begin, you just mentioned Dan Wilson within 1 of his total of all last year. Joey Cora has 3. Balls flying out to the opposite field. There's something about the baseball.
Absolutely. You can understand the big, strong guys, but a guy like Cora has hit 7 in his career, and he's got 3 in the first month.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's been in the weight room a lot.
Jim Leyritz had an interesting theory. He said he thinks players are going back to heavier bats. And he thinks you get, better wood on it.
Well, you might. Paul O'Neill swings a 35-inch, 35-ounce. That is quite heavy by today's standards. That was, a couple of decades ago would have been a normal power hitter's bat. A lot of hitters have been going to the 31, 32 ounces.
Well, the fans want a strikeout, but Cora is tough to fan. And he hits that one off the facade of the Yankee dugout. The on-deck man is the former Yankee, Russell Davis. In fact, last year, Joey Cora was the 3rd toughest man to strike out in the American League. Only 1 for every 15.5 plate appearances. Very modest lead at first for Paul Sereno. Dwight Gooden pitching here in the top of the second inning. He's walked 3, but has not, to this point, allowed a base hit. One broke down, and no shakes the home plate umpire, and Al Clark confirms no swing.
Good, sharp breaking ball by Doc. And you mentioned how difficult Cora is to strike out. That discipline tells you why. A lot of hitters chase that pitch. Joey held up.
Right back up the middle. Einhorn makes the tag, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. Good job by Einhorn, and I guess Gooden fortunate he didn't deflect that ball. It might have been an infield single. So Gooden again blanks the Mariners, and we remain scoreless. Lou Piniella, soon to be the winningest Seattle Mariner manager ever. And what about this rivalry between his team and the Yankees?
Possibly. I know they're out here on the East Coast and we're up there in the Pacific Northwest, but, the Yankees have always been a big draw in Seattle anyway. There are a lot of Yankee people, fans up there in the Pacific Northwest. So I think that there's a little bit of a natural rivalry, even though both teams have had a lot of turnover since last year. fact, you've got 3 of our kids right here, and we've got 2 of yours.
And there's one of his, formerly a Yankee, Russell Davis, flying out to the track, hauled in by Paul O'Neill. That's his 3rd catch of the game here in inning number 3.
I think what did a lot for that rivalry that Lou is talking about is that division series. Watching a lot of the highlights of that tonight on our scorecard show with Mike Crispino. I mean, that was as good watching the replays, not good for Yankee fans, but a good series. Just watching all the highlights and the great plays, home runs.
Yeah, the regular season was also quite spirited between the Yankees and the Mariners. Ken Griffey hitting that home run, the walk-off home run against John Wetland that may have at that point saved the franchise in the city of Seattle. This ball is lifted in the air. Center field, Gerald Williams calling off Ruben Sierra. Ruben with a little bit of a token effort right behind him.
See, he pointed, he said, "You anything there? Yeah, you got it. When I say I got it, I got it."
Alex Rodriguez coming to the plate. Let's take a look at what happened first time up against Doc Gooden. He hits this ball straight away center field, and Gerald Williams threw up his glove in the vicinity of where that ball was, made the catch, then the relay. Einhorn to Martinez, a double play.
Yeah, threw a strike to the cutoff, man.
Dwight Gooden working in the 3rd inning against Alex Rodriguez. Gooden has walked 3. And the called strike. Doc looking for his first 1-2-3 inning with 2 outs here in the 3rd. 20-year-old Alex Rodriguez. That was a nice sharp breaking pitch by Doc. Late movement and sharp.
Well, what has been Doc's history is the curveball is there in terms of sharpness. Again, the hand coming out of the glove. It just takes him a couple of innings to get good command of it. So usually if teams do not get him early, as is the case with a lot of successful pitchers, he gets better as the game goes on.
Thought he had the corner. So did most of the umpires in the stands here.
Girardi's sitting out there, and you can see Joe had to reach just a bit outside to get it.
Same idea, same results. Now the count goes to 3-2. Well, Mel Stottlemyre has seen Doc walk 3 men already, including 1 after an 0-2 count. Still cold enough to blow on your hands on the mound. Lost it. Tried the 3-2 curve.
Slips his. We talked about Joe Torre's meeting before the game with the pitchers. And Mel Stottlemyre's gone through this too. Talk about getting pitchers warmed up and then play a game. Set the catcher right behind the middle of the plate. Try to throw 10 pitches right down the middle. See how many out of 10 you can do. You can't do it. The ball will hit either corner, one way or the other. But what we see now is a lot of catchers moving side to side and pitchers trying to hit the corner, missing and falling behind. And that's what Joe was trying to convey to his pitching staff. Be more aggressive, challenge the hitter, make him hit it.
Ken Griffey Jr. walked his first time up. Gooden is not missing by much, but he has not gotten any calls.
Well, those are off the plate, so it's not like Dan Morrison has a tiny strike zone.
That one broke and caught the outside part of the plate. 1-1 to Griffey.
There's the backdoor curve that Doc gets in for a strike.
The man who's running for president. I heard a story that some player on another team really thought that this was true.
You mean it isn't?
Here's Rodriguez leading off. Opposite field, and it'll carry out a play. Of course, some might think that Dennis Rodman is running for vice president after his Saturday Night Live stint. Well, that's popular these days here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he's running for president.
Saw a couple of those in the Yankee clubhouse.
The Yankee doodle dandy.
Well, here comes the crowd again, trying to get the first Doc Gooden K of the night. To this point, he has walked 4, struck out no one.
See, that's the pitch you don't get. I say you don't get it. We talked about the shrinking strike zone, and you don't get a pitch above the belt. See, this is exactly where Gooden wants to throw that ball, and that is belt high. See, right there, you saw it go right across Griffey's belt, and yet that pitch is called for high. That's one of the reasons pitchers have a tougher time today.
Swing and a miss. Doc Gooden blew him away with a high fastball toward the outside part of the plate, and that is strikeout number 1. And Gooden works another scoreless inning. In the middle of the third, it remains the Yankees nothing, the Mariners nothing.
You're watching the 1996 Major League Baseball matchup between the New York Yankees and the Seattle Mariners here on ESPN Classic.
Back at the stadium, Mike Crispino along with Jim Cott. We have no score. It's an unusual Yankee-Mariner game. No home runs yet. And I know you haven't made your decision yet for the upcoming election, so here's a suggestion.
All right, thank you. Well, yeah, I'll check with Junior tomorrow, see his stance on a number of issues. Flat tax, shorten the baseball season.
I like him.
You know, a few important things like that. And
I'd like to know who his running mate's going to be first. Let's find it. If it's going to be Buhner, we'll have to reconsider it all. We all have to get those haircuts like Buhner has.
That'll be Junior in the Bone would be that ticket. That's Jay Buhner's nickname.
Catchy, anyway. Edgar Martinez, who absolutely killed the Yankees last year in the playoffs. Again, hitting well to lead off the 4th. So Dwight Gooden, Jim, with the control problems, despite that, able to survive and thrown 3 shutout innings.
Yeah, now, Scott Kamenicki said in Sunday's game that he was trying to throw strikes. He wasn't trying to nibble at the corners. It was just one of those days he did not have command of his pitches.
Of course, we heard that Joe Torre would talk to the pitchers about throwing strikes. Is that something like talking to someone about free throw shooting? The more you talk about it, the more trouble you have doing it?
Well, it can be, but you talk more about the approach.
Martinez pops it up on the infield, and his former teammate Tino retires Edgar for the first out in the 4th.
You know, free throws, they might talk about technique and what you have to do, far maybe relaxing. But in terms of throwing strikes, I think what Joe Torre wanted to get across to his staff is think about challenging early in the count. Trust your stuff. Here it is. Hit it if you can. Hit the ball in the air enough off both pitchers tonight. 13 of the first 19 outs, flyouts.
The word that Joe Torre used before the game was aggressive.
See, for years, and it still goes on, is hitters give pitchers too much credit. Hitters go up to the plate and they say, you know, this guy's going to make that nasty pitch low and outside. And pitchers the same way. They say, I don't dare throw it over the middle. He's going to take me out of the ballpark.
There really are maybe 1 or 2 pitches almost in every at-bat that a hitter's going to have a good swing at, and that a pitcher's going to have you looking bad.
See, that was a good swing, and that pitch right down the middle. But if you throw it with the conviction, I'm going to dare you to hit it, I'm going to make you hit it, you'll have more success than nibbling.
Buhner swings and just chipped it back. 10 homers, 31 runs batted in. One of those former Yankees.
That was a high breaking ball that Buhner just missed. Curveball seems to be slipping out of Doc's hands. You mentioned it's cool enough to blow on the hand, and he's lost a couple of those curveballs that have slipped out.
Temperature 58 degrees when we began tonight. And he got him. Blew it by Jay Buhner. Second strikeout for Dwight Gooden.
And that's another fastball. Here it is. Hit it if you can. Throws it right by him. Again, the hand coming out of the glove a little bit quicker. You see he's already breaking the hands. Hides the ball well. And Doc's rhythm and tempo getting a little better here in the 4th inning.
Paul Sorrento to the plate with 2 down. It's amazing if this could continue and Gooden continue to pitch this way, what one small adjustment would really mean to him. Nobody wanted to take a chance on Dwight Gooden. And if he continues to pitch like this, the Yankees may have made a very risky move look good.
And we talked about it, and me particularly, I've talked to Doc about it, and He even shook his head in agreement at one time that maybe he should have gone to the minor leagues to start the season and gotten straightened out down there. But see, Mel Stottlemyre wouldn't have seen him down there to make the change. And if it weren't for the David Cone injury and subsequent surgery, Doc may never have had another opportunity to step in and do what he's doing.
Well, they say necessity is the mother of invention, and the Yankees may have stumbled on something here because of their shortage of arms. Melito Perez went down. That opened up something for Dwight Gooden as well back in spring. Pitch to Sorrento, is skied to right field. Einhorn out, O'Neill in, calling, making the catch. Dwight Gooden gets Seattle 3 up and 3 down in the fourth. He has not allowed a hit yet. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth in just a moment.
It's not surprising that Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden ended up in Yankee pinstripes. After all, their careers did have plenty of similarities. Both came up with the New York Mets, Strawberry in '83 and Gooden in '84. Both won Rookie of the Year awards, and unfortunately, both had substance abuse problems. With more on Strawberry and Gooden, here's Carl Ravitz with a Vintage Sports Center report from 1996.
We just knew in our heart that we had a special care about each other because we came through the Mets organization together, and being young players and being able to win a championship and have all those good seasons there, and then also getting into all the trouble we got into, has really made us understand that, you know, our friendship is always going to be there.
Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden, 2 first-round picks, both rookies of the year. So much success, so quickly, so young, so many choices.
I didn't trust myself. I don't think Doc trusted himself either. I think we got caught in the midst of what a fast pace was really all about. And, you know, we kept taking those wrong turns. And anytime a person takes wrong turns, he's going to fall.
'86, for myself, I started doing a lot of heavy drinking, and I'm pretty sure Darryl was getting into his thing. So we kind of, because of the respect we have for each other, we didn't want to be around each other during those times.
Gooden bottomed out in '94. Instead of walking into clubhouses, he was walking through the doors of rehab clinics. Strawberry's troubles soon followed. Linked together again, they were making headlines.
When Gooden got out of the Betty Ford Clinic in 1994, Darryl Strawberry was there to pick him up. In '95, when Strawberry signed with the Yankees, he once again picked up Dwight Gooden. Not literally, but Gooden was on the suspended list and in recovery. And those who know him best suggest the only way that Dwight Gooden was to really recover was to get back into the game.
The main thing, I remember when Darryl first signed and came into Tampa, and I went out to the field to watch him play, and that gave me a lot of the strength to go on, because I knew if I get things straightened out with myself that I can make it back.
He gets into this one way back in right center field, and this one is gone.
It seems like every time he pitches, I'm always hitting on runs, so that should speak for itself. But me and Doc is real good friends. We really pull for each other because we've had to battle the same situation.
Prior to Gooden and Strawberry, the only other Mets to win Rookie of the Year honors were pitchers Tom Seaver in 1967 and John Matlack in 1972. Later in the show, we'll delve further into the comeback of Dwight Gooden. But right now, let's continue with Doc's no-hitter from 1996 here at ESPN Classic.
To the top of the fifth we go. No score, Seattle and the Yankees. And the Yankee left fielder tonight with Doc Gooden on the mound is Ruben Sierra. Surprise start. His first there in left field. Joe Torre making that move. Tim Raines on the bench tonight. That was kind of a surprise to me that Tim Raines, I believe, is healthy and does not get a start tonight. But I guess Joe Torre wants to see what Sierra can do in the outfield.
Yeah, Tim has not been playing a lot against the left-hand pitching yet. And, Ruben Sierra, he talked in spring training about wanting to play in the field a little bit more, so he's out there tonight.
Dan Wilson with 8 home runs. 9 is his career high. I remember talking to Lou Piniella last year when Seattle was in here about Wilson's hitting. And Lou, of course, one of the great hitters, was working with him to develop his hitting. And since they got serious about it, Wilson has upped his average. I don't know what these power numbers are legit this year or not, but he's been hitting the ball much, much better.
Well, I think another thing that happens to a player is when you become a regular, and Wilson is now the regular catcher, played in postseason play, you have a little more confidence. You relax at the plate, don't grip the bat quite as tightly, and production goes up.
2-1 count to the leadoff hitter. And the strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, in about 5 innings now, we've come from Chuck to Uncle Charlie, and we're getting close to Lord Charles. I mean, look at that. That's a little knee buckler.
Couldn't pull the trigger. Oops. 2-2, and he misses. One of the things Piniella talked about was getting Wilson to go with the pitch. Hit it to right when it's on the outside half of the plate instead of pulling it.
Which is what Lou Piniella did so well, especially late in his career. Great situational hitter.
This pitch grounded to Jeter. Throw on to Tino Martinez, and there's one away in the top of the 5th. Well, we talked to Joe Torre before the game and asked him when he came up with the decision to play Ruben Sierra in left tonight.
I told him Sunday, he's been working out there. He's still, still working out. And I just felt it was Ruben or Leyritz, and he's had more experience in the outfield than Jimmy has. Especially with Bernie out of the lineup, that I just wanted to try it. He wants to play the outfield. And I said, keep working on it. There'll be a time I'll put you out there, a time or two. But again, I still like you as my DH. But in this situation where it was either Leyritz or Ruben, it was an easy decision.
And there's Ruben, his first start in left. Joey Cora at the plate. It's a 1-1 count. Little left-hander came in at 227, now at 225 after grounding out. This one is popped up in the infield. Tino Martinez calling, and now Robert Einhorn calls him out, and there are 2 away. Well, what a bizarre weekend in Chicago. Drop balls. Everything happened that could possibly happen. And then the Yankees coming back to win that game. And, we talked about that Baltimore series where they came back twice, 1 in 15 innings. And that game, those might stand out down the road.
When you win games like that on the road, where you just figure you're at such a disadvantage, close games late, the other team hitting last, they stay with you. And we saw what the 2 wins in Baltimore did. The Yankees really built off those 2 and started out on a nice streak after that.
First of an 8-game homestand tonight against Seattle. Russell Davis, the former Yankee. A lot of conversation when the Yankees made that deal. They needed a first baseman when Don Mattingly said he wasn't coming back. Tino's a great hitter, good fielder. But these 2 guys, a lot of people think, are the future maybe for Seattle. It all remains to be seen. 2 strikes on Davis, 2 outs, the top of the 5th. And you can hear the crowd get behind Dwight Gooden.
In fact, that's a nice bit of timing by Doc. He knows that that's what's going to happen, and he allows the crowd to get into it.
Throws in the fastball, and it's sky to right. Paul O'Neill in his tracks makes the catch. Dwight Gooden sets him down in order. That's 7 in a row now. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. No score at Yankee Stadium.
Not a lot of action here at the stadium from an offensive standpoint. The pitcher's been in control. No score after 5 innings. Gooden and Hitchcock in command of this. Dave Cohen back with me now. And I know it's the kind of game you enjoy.
I love it, especially because they have the New York Pretzels debuting again in the press box. What a great pitcher's duel.
Making me hungry. Doc Gooden, he's not thrown a lot of first pitch strikes. Did right there, but he has been able to come back and get the big outs. In fact, the last 2 innings, Doc has only thrown 25 pitches in the last 2 innings after struggling a little early on. That fastball right at Tino and off his glove, hop into the stands. And Darren Bragg is going to be awarded a ground rule double unless we'll see there. And it is scored generously for Bragg, or for Tino rather, because this ball was smoked.
Yeah, but he didn't have to move very far. All he had to do was get the glove down, and he didn't get the glove, and right off his chest.
Yeah, I guess that's right. That is an error in terms of if Tino could have just gotten over there and knocked it down, he would have had plenty of time to run to the bag. So it scored an error, and when it bounced into the stands, Bragg awarded second base. So the Mariners have a threat here in the 6th inning as Alex Rodriguez steps in and does the proper thing. Good fundamental baseball. A productive out as the young shortstop. He'll get a a nice going from Lou Piniella when he returns to the dugout, because that advances Bragg to third.
Wow, now a real challenge coming up for Dwight Gooden. The Yankees will bring the infield in with a runner at third and one man out, and Gooden struck him out last time, so this will be a terrific one-on-one battle.
Joe Torre, sensing the low-scoring game, no score in the sixth, is going to bring the infield in with Ken Griffey Jr. at the plate. And I think that what goes into the thinking here also is Doc Gooden is a fly ball or strikeout pitcher. So you gamble and bring your infield in, say if he does hit a ground ball, maybe it will be at one of our infielders and we'll get a shot of throwing the runner out at home as Bragg takes his lead. Good curveball, and it's 1-1.
I think tonight Dwight has had his best fastball of the year as a Yankee. And in his curveball, he didn't have it at the beginning, but as the game has gone on, it's become sharper and sharper.
Which is typical of Doc. The deeper he gets into the game. John McLaren, the third base coach, giving some instruction to Darren Bragg. And that curve is in 1-2. Well, they struck him out on a high blazer. They've got that thought in the kid's mind. The crowd getting into it now. Good hook.
They're rising like the 15th round of a heavyweight fight.
Tried to get him to chase the high fastball again. That was how Griffey struck out in his previous at-bat. It's 2-2.
It's almost like the electricity of the crowd is plugged into you. You reach back for a little extra.
Just off the inside corner. And the count is full.
Strikeout for Gooden. No rest now for the weary as he fanned Gooden for the second time. Girardi wanted the fastball away. That's what he got. And Griffey chased and could not catch up to it. There are some people among the Mariners who think that, although he hasn't admitted it, that he may be favoring that injured wrist a little bit this year.
And there is a doctor in the house. Mel Stottlemyre happy about that, encouraging Doc Gooden to get one more out here. And as tough as Junior might be, the guy in the batter's box is tougher. Ripped center field. Gerald on the run. Puts it away. Another nice running catch. Good pitching. Good fielding. And the Yankees shut down the Mariners in the top of the sixth. A good one going here at the stadium. Still no score. Back at the stadium, we go to the bottom of the sixth inning. All the home runs these two ball clubs hit last year, and tonight it's pitching. Gerald Williams, who's been sparkling in the field, has been on base twice tonight. There's the running waist-high catch that he makes to end the top of the sixth inning. But in his two appearances on the bases, he's been thrown out. Willie Randolph, third base coach, talked with Gerald a little bit between innings.
There's Mariano Duncan next to him now. By the way, Mariano could come back to action as early as next Tuesday, and he might be sent out on a rehab assignment later this week.
Wade Boggs up and in for a ball. Wade flied out to center. That seems to be the out du jour. There's the conversation. Gerald telling Willie what he did, and then Willie said, no, that's not what I want you to do. In for a strike. Boy, Hitchcock has a good live fastball. Well, Willie might be telling him, you broke too soon on the hit and run, or maybe it was a miss sign, but Willie's doing the talking, Gerald's doing the listening. Good breaking ball. 1-2. After all the runs in Chicago, the top 2 pitching staffs in the American League from an earned run average standpoint, the Yankees and the White Sox, and 36 runs were scored in 3 games.
Dan Wilson moved way outside before that pitch. And Hitchcock has impressed me tonight with his fastball. He's working quicker, I think, than we saw him work in the past as a Yankee.
A lot more confidence. And Boggs out to left field. Bragg will have to play it on a hop. Wade has his second hit of the night. The Yankees have 3 and a leadoff base runner here in the 6th. Well, the Mariners got Darren Bragg to second base with nobody out in the top of this inning, and combination of Gooden's pitching and Gerald Williams' leather. Mariners didn't score. Here's Joe Girardi, and he can bunt. He can hit the ball the other way. Torrey can pick a couple of options. Boggs, not a threat to steal, has none, but the Mariners aware of what the Yankees might try to do, so Wade's job here would be to take a conservative lead and not get picked off. And Girardi takes a shot to right, fouls it straight back.
Yeah, Joe Girardi very adept at hitting the ball to the right side, but you can see Wilson was setting up inside to try to bring the ball in on the hands of Girardi.
And I think what Joe Torre may have been thinking there, if the Mariners are looking for a bunt, you throw the high fastball. I'll give him one swing, and he got the high fastball, fouled it straight back. Wouldn't surprise me to see Joe Torre turn right around. They want to throw to first base. They want to, even though they know Boggs will not steal, they want to check and see if Girardi gives any indication that he might bunt. And I wouldn't be surprised if he would bunt right here after swinging at the first pitch.
Now, Girardi asked for time at the last minute. You can see how anxious he's working.
Yeah, you get into that little waggle as a hitter, and you're trying to time the pitcher's motion. And then when the pitcher takes too much time, you just say, I want time out, and the home plate umpire's job is to protect the hitter, and he did. And he does bunt. He fouls it straight back, 0-2.
Tough pitch to bunt. A fastball up and in on Joe Girardi, who's a very good bunter, but Hitchcock did his job, perhaps sensing that that would be the Yankee strategy. Here it is.
So now Girardi's mission with the count 0-2 would be to try to make some contact and slap it the other way to the right side. Hit well center field. Griffey on the run. We'll have to play it on a hop. And Boggs with a good piece of base running. Boggs had to make a decision because Griffey gave you the appearance that he was going to catch the ball right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wade went halfway, had a sense that ball might drop in front of Griffey, and he was not deked out. He had a inkling that ball would fall in, and it did. We had a great angle to see it. That ball hung right over the right center field area, right over Boggs' head.
As a base runner, you make up your mind one way or the other. If you think he's going to catch it, you just hang back and you're an out at second base, but don't get caught in between. And Boggs made the aggressive decision. He got very close to second base, and after it fell in, got there easily. So first and second, nobody out, as Hitchcock gave Girardi a little too much of a hittable pitch on 0-2, and that'll get Mike Jackson into action. Action Jackson. They have consistently tried to run that fastball in on O'Neill's hands, and he caught up with one the last time. Paul's average with men in scoring position not up to his season average, and Louis Piniella sees something he wants to talk to Hitchcock about.
Well, oftentimes the first trip to the mound will be the pitching coach. Lou Piniella is out there, not Bobby Cuellar. He's talking mostly with his catcher.
Well, just in case, I don't know if the Mariners threw that pitch up and in thinking that O'Neill might be bunting, but of course Lou knows Paul O'Neill pretty well from his Cincinnati days also, where he managed him. So
now talking with shortstop Alex Rodriguez.
Might be saying, look, we've been coming inside there, inside in Yankee Stadium. If you don't make a perfect pitch, you're rubbing up a new one oftentimes. And they might say, look, let's go back away from him, make him hit it the other way. Good curveball. 1-1. If you joined us late, it's been a great duel between former Yankee Sterling Hitchcock and Doc Gooden. Is pitched well again for the 4th consecutive start. O'Neill waggling the bat, trying to time Hitchcock's motion. Curveball ripped fair. Nice play, Sereno. Can he get it? By a step. Saved a pair of runs, but O'Neill advances the runners, and he can't believe it. He wants to stay on first base.
Well, here it is. Watch this. Right down the line. The right-handed fielding Sereno will get over, and with the extension makes the ball. Now the race is to the bag. Hitchcock, who is not a great fielding pitcher, gets there. O'Neill goes to the slide. Usually you lose a little bit in terms of speed when you go to the slide. And watch the footwork. Clearly Hitchcock got there, but that shot, which goes 3-1, moves the runners to second and third with 1 out.
And that is a big play for a number of reasons, because now the Mariners will walk Sierra, the right-hand hitter, and they'll take a shot at Tino Martinez. But this is not your normal lefty against lefty percentage. Lou Piniella's setting up a play at every base, but Tino, during his Mariner days when Hitchcock was a Yankee, was 4 for 6, and he's hit the ball sharply at second baseman Joey Cora tonight. So we have, Dave, in this first meeting of the two teams, an early battle of the trade in a pressure situation here.
So Ruben gets the intentional walk. That's about the 6th one this year already for Ruben Sierra.
For 2, and both at bats he's hit the ball on the ground to Joey Cora. That's what Hitchcock would like to get here, and the fans, as they were for Gooden on the pitching mound, are up again. They love this rivalry. In the air to center, and it's deep enough to get the run home. Girardi advancing to third. He'll make it. Boggs scores, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. 26th RBI for Martinez.
Designated hitter, Jim Leyritz.
Well, Tino needed just 1 pitch to take care of business and get the first run of this game home with the fly ball to fairly deep center field. And the former Seattle Mariner breaks this scoreless game, breaks the ice in this game with a run number 1 on the sacrifice fly. Griffey's thrown now to third base as Boggs tags, makes sure the catch is made before he comes home. Griffey made a throw to third, but still moving over to third on the play.
So the lefties have done the damage tonight against left-hander Sterling Hitchcock. Boggs has a pair of hits and has scored the only run. And Tino Martinez has driven it in. Here's Leyritz. He's got a single, and there's runners at the corners. low for a ball.
The Yankees have good speed, at least at third base, with Joe Girardi there.
Curveball in for a strike. This would in all probability be Hitchcock's last man. Gerald Williams, a right-hand hitter, is due up next, and Mike Jackson is ready in the bullpen.
That was the 100th pitch that Hitchcock just threw to Jim Leyritz.
Just off the inside edge, 2-1. Sterling started out the year with 4 very solid starts, went 3-1. His last 4, not quite as effective, but he has been sharp tonight. High for a ball, 3-1, and that is what we saw a lot from Hitchcock last year, is with men on base. He tends to pay a lot of attention to base runners, not pick up the target quickly enough. And as he's done here to Leyritz, fall behind on the count, 3-1. Off-speed pitch, and the count is full. Good pitch by Hitchcock, with Leyritz looking fastball all the way.
Boy, this took some guts to throw. He kind of turned it over. Changeup, and Leyritz way out ahead of it.
Sorrento will move back of Sierra, and Ruben will get a head start with the 3-2 two-out count. Ripped. Base hit left field. Girardi scores. Yankees lead it 2-0. 15th RBI for Leyritz. And Pinella's going to the mound.
Yeah, batter too late. As Leyritz gets the back rub from Jose Cardinal. Jim Leyritz 1 for 17 coming in. He picked up a single earlier in this game, and here he is now with an even bigger hit. Clean shot through the hole between short and third base. Got the fastball right out over the middle of the plate. Single to left, run batted in, and Sterling Hitchcock now will depart, the former Yankee, leaving on the short end of this 2-0 score, responsible for the other 2 runners on base.
5 2/3 pitching by Sterling Hitchcock, just allowing 2 runs so far. Back after these messages.
After 3 horrendous starts, a bullpen stint, and an injury to David Cone in 1996, Gooden finally found his groove against the Detroit Tigers on May 8th to earn his first win since June 19th, 1994. From that point on, Gooden was on his way back. With more on Gooden, here's Larry Beal with a Vintage Sports Center report from 1996.
Dwight Gooden left the field last night on the shoulders of teammates, a long way from where he started the 1996 season.
This was spectacular. I mean, from where Doc came from in spring training, and, you know, Mel Stottlemyre and I felt he had good stuff. But we couldn't get in his body to tell him he had good stuff.
And it is Stottlemyre, the Mets pitching coach, who watched Gooden's star rise in the 80s, who can be credited with getting Gooden on the way back.
It's been a while, and having Mel come in, who's known me for his mechanic-wise, and he can see me once I get out of sync because with the layoff.
But after being out of the game a year and a half on a drug suspension, it wasn't the Gooden of old who came out of spring training. Gooden didn't make it through the 6th inning against the Rangers in either of his first 2 starts. And after a 3-inning debacle against the Twins on April the 19th, Gooden's starting days looked numbered.
Then after the game in Minnesota, we just felt he was going backwards, and we put him in the bullpen. Gave Mel the opportunity to shorten up his delivery just a little bit so he had better command of the stuff.
Gooden's demotion to the bullpen didn't last very long. With David Cone scratched from the lineup on April the 27th, it was Gooden back on the mound with a more streamlined delivery, and he kept his spot in the rotation with Cone on the DL.
Just see the maturation of him in these 4 games that he's pitched. He got better each time, and you could see the look in his eye, and you know the look in the eye.
That look wasn't the only thing that returned for Gooden. The movement in his fastball brought back memories of a 1985 Doc Gooden, sending 268 batters down on strikes just 1 burrow away over at Shea. And as Derek Jeter closed the door on Gooden's masterpiece, things look to have finally turned around for the man that New York has come to know as Dr. K.
Gooden won the pitching version of the Triple Crown in 1985, leading the majors with 24 victories, 268 strikeouts, and a 1.53 ERA. Let's head back to his no-hitter from 1996 here on ESPN Classic.
Back at the stadium, 2 down, bottom of the 6th. Yankees have taken a 2-0 lead. A decent job by Sterling Hitchcock, and to his left, Chris Bosio, tomorrow night's starting pitcher. But the Yankees with 3 big singles, and Paul O'Neill with what looked like a double ripped down the right field line, but a great play by Sorrento has kept this from being even a bigger inning for the Yankees. And Doc Gooden, in his 4th consecutive effective outing, has held the Mariners scoreless through 6. There's Mike Jackson.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Pitched last season with Cincinnati. Has also been with Philadelphia in the mid-'80s, with the Giants, with Seattle. He's Seattle's all-time ERA leader. 2nd time around with Seattle.
You saw the hits per inning, 20 hits in 16 innings. That's unlike Mike Jackson. Gerald steps in, and that is what you see a lot of from Mike Jackson. One slider right after another. He usually contains right-hand hitters rather well, and most of you, of course, aware of the injury to Bernie Williams, so Joe Torre not about to make any changes right now.
Yeah, that slider somewhat reminiscent of Jeff Nelson's, but obviously not as sweeping or as from as severe an angle as Nelson, but it can be tough on right-handers. But Gerald's done a better job this year against the hard-throwing righties.
There it is again, in for a strike, 0-2. Right-handers hitting just 175 against veteran Mike Jackson. Quiet bat. And he reaches to the slider and hits the soft liner to Alex Rodriguez. Looked for a moment like Gerald might have enough on it. So Jackson gets the last out. Hitchcock, after 5 2/3, allows 2 runs. And after 6, the Yankees behind the doctor, lead it by a pair.
Focus in on the numbers. The Yankees are leading Seattle 2-0, and Dwight Gooden on the left will face Jay Buhner to begin the 7th inning. Let's go back to the 4th inning. Gooden pitching against Buhner. Fastball, strike 1. Hanging curve, strike 2. Fastball, he couldn't catch it. He was a strikeout victim in the 4th inning. Now to the top of the 7th, where the Yankees leading Seattle 2-0.
Boy, we could have a pine tar controversy here. Look how far up the barrel he's got that stuff. It's George Brett territory.
And the doctor with a sharp breaking pitch in the dirt.
Must have a high trademark. Not supposed to have pine tar above the trademark.
2 balls and no strikes. Was it a certain amount of inches from either the top or the bottom of the bat where you were allowed to have the pine tar?
I think it has to stay below the label, the trademark.
Good misses. 3-0 to Jay Buhner beginning the 7th inning. Gooden began this game with a couple of walks in the 1st inning.
Stoudemire going to get some action in the Yankee bullpen.
Dwight has walked 4, and the 3-0 is taken for a strike by Buhner. Last couple of innings, Dwight Gooden was cruising. Mariano Rivera, another hard thrower, gets up and will be getting ready. Bouncing ball is short. Jeter waits and throws right on the money, 1 away.
Well, that's a nice comeback by Doc Gooden. It's so important to get that first out. Falls behind 3-0, comes back and gets Buhner on a ground out. There's Doc with the splitter, which we don't see too often, or the changeup. He's still basically a fastball curveball. That's kind of a special grip on the knuckle curve. But Doc will stick fastball overhand curve.
Now he gets the first pitch over to Paul Sorrento. Sorrento has a walk, and he flied out to Paul O'Neill in right field. Same pitch, same location, same result. Gooden has had excellent command of his fastball.
Right on target to Joe Girardi.
Now the 10th man comes into play again. The crowd behind Doc Gooden. Sereno wasn't biting of that one. Ball and 2 strikes. Sereno stepping out of the box. Gooden's ready to pitch already. He got the ball standing right on the rubber, was set to go, and they want to hang up that K.
You can get those first 2 called. It's a little tougher to get a called strike 3.
Bouncing ball. Martinez will field and go to the bag by himself. And he retires Paul Sereno. 2 away in the 7th. A very efficient Dwight Gooden.
Yeah, he continues to get the hand out of the glove quicker. And you really can't tell from Doc's motion whether it's the 1st inning or the 7th. He is pretty consistent with that good hip turn. It's just that his rhythm and tempo, you mentioned he's working at a little faster pace, seem to get better and quicker as the game wears on.
Nice sharp pitch and a swing and a miss by Dan Wilson.
It's the overhand hook.
Wilson, the Seattle catcher, gets the same pitch. And Gooden gets strike 2. Up again to their collective feet. Joe Girardi stopping that one. Nobody's on base. 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
You could sit outside Yankee Stadium and tell what was going on just by the crowd with Doc Gooden on the mound.
One of those classic roars tonight going up time and time again. Popped up. Actually carrying well. Gerald's under it, and that is the final out of the 7th inning. So Doc Gooden leaves the mound. The Seattle Mariners got no runs and no hits in the 7th. We're going to the bottom of the 7th, and they're up, stretching and applauding. Dwight Gooden on the mound. Inning number 8. And the leadoff man is Joey Cora. Curveball taken for a strike. Cora, Davis, and Bragg, the scheduled hitters here in the 8th. Lifted in the air to right field. O'Neill is coming in. Pauling. 1 down in the 8th. Yet another fly ball out.
Special night in the Bronx for Doc Gooden. 4th game in a row. He just continues to get better. Mel Stottlemyre probably checking the pitch count, but you know what? At this time, they don't care what that pitch count is. Doc Gooden's not coming out of this game right now.
Well, Gooden now will have to face a new batter as the Mariners send up a pinch hitter. Corey making the notation on his lineup card. Doug Strange, as a Gooden with a false start there, will throw the rubber again. Strange is batting for Russell Davis. And he takes a curveball for strike 1. Girardi's behind the plate. Gooden has had excellent command of his fastball all night. The curveball has gotten better as the game has progressed.
There again is that you just can't get a called strike on that pitch. See, it's belt high. Maybe the camera angle's wrong, but it sure looked like it had part of the corner.
Here's a bouncing ball gloved by Gooden. He'll throw to first for the easy out. 2 away in the 8th.
Doc has gotten more ground ball outs. You mentioned the command of the fastball. In the early innings, it was a little more erratic. But the curveball has gotten better and better. And now he's even getting more ground outs.
Darren Darren Bragg hit a sharp ground ball at first as he takes a curve for a strike. A ball that ricocheted off of the body of Tino Martinez, landed in the stands. It was ruled an error. Gooden pitching here now in the 8th with 2 outs. That's a foul at the plate. Salomire on the phone to the bullpen.
He said, sit down, boys. Doc's got it.
No balls and 2 strikes. They're calm on the Yankee bench. Sharp breaking pitch almost hit Bragg. He fine-tuned him a couple of games ago, and he's been terrific since. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. Al Clark down at third base.
He did hold up in time.
Now the count is all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll do it again.
We talked about the sometimes disappointing crowds here at the stadium, the way the Yankees are playing, but tonight one of the better crowds, and they have sensed what's going on the field from about the 3rd inning on, and they've been into it.
The paid crowd, 20,786, but there's many more in the park. There are many more. That pitch is low, and the count goes full. 3-2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning, top of the 8th inning with 2 outs, nobody on base. In for a call, strike 3. Gooden got the fastball at the knees, and the Seattle Mariners go down in the 8th inning. They go down 1-2-3. This game is heading to the bottom of the 8th with the Yankees leading Seattle 2-0.
For more on specific ESPN Classic programming and specials, go to ESPN.com. Keyword Classic. 1996 was the year of the long ball. The Baltimore Orioles, Seattle Mariners, and Oakland Athletics all surpassed the team record for home runs of 240 set by the 1961 New York Yankees. In all, 4,962 home runs were hit, easily eclipsing the previous Major League record for homers in a season. Despite missing 32 games, Oakland's Mark McGwire led the majors with 52 homers, while Colorado's Andres Galarraga led the National League with 47. Despite all the offensive production in 1996, there were no hits by the Seattle Mariners on May 14th. Let's return to Dwight Gooden's no-hitter from 1996 here on ESPN Classic.
Bottom of the 8th inning about to unfold at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees 2, the Mariners nothing. Dwight Gooden, after his 8th inning of work, into the Yankee dugout. A little high five from Andy Pettitte, but few words from anybody else. Ruben Sierra swinging and missing at Tim Davis's first pitch.
Yeah, and as you would expect, everybody in that dugout, see, Andy Pettitte probably been giving them high fives the last 4 or 5 innings. They're going to keep doing the same thing in that dugout.
Sierra missing again. Ruben trying to figure out what's going on here as he faces Tim Davis. 0 for 3 against him prior to this at-bat. Behind on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. That pitch was well up out of the strike zone, and he gives it a long ride, but Ken Griffey says, I'll take it, and he does. Right in front of Darren Bragg. 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning.
First baseman, Tino Martinez.
Tino Martinez had a sacrifice fly last time up. It drove in the first run of the game. There's Edwin Hurtado warming up in the Seattle bullpen. A little bit low from Tim Davis.
And not just because of what we've seen from Doc Gooden tonight, the special performance, but what would be a big win and an unusual win for the Yankees. They have only won one other game this year, a low-scoring affair like this where they score less than 3 runs.
That's a fair ball. And Serrano does it by himself to retire Tino Martinez and return the favor a couple innings ago. Martinez fielded a ground ball and tagged the base and put away Serrano. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th.
And Lou Piniella playing every percentage he can. He is going to go righty to righty. And as is the case, Dave, when you see something unusual, doesn't happen very often, unfolding in baseball, Doc Gooden is going to have to face the heart of the Mariner lineup in the top of the 9th inning. Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., and Edgar Martinez are the 3 hitters due up.
You mentioned that low-scoring game. That was the game the Yankees beat the White Sox 2-0. Gooden pitched in that game. Then it was Rivera and Wetland to finish it up. Yankees leading Seattle 2-0. Don't you dare leave us. Back with you at Yankee Stadium for the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 men away, and the Seattle Mariners have made a pitching change, bringing on the Venezuelan Edwin Hurtado, 6'3", 215 pounds. But that may be an understatement.
Well, they picked him up for the Blue Jays for hard-throwing right-hander Bill Risley. And you can see that Edwin, a fairly hard thrower with almost a strikeout an inning, but a lot of hits per inning and a lot of walks. Lou Piniella right here just playing the percentage, righty versus righty.
Seattle also got Paul Menhart in that trade with the Blue Jays. They gave up Risley and Miguel Cairo. And Jim Leyritz broke out of his slump nicely tonight with a pair of singles. Has a run batted in. Average again creeping toward 300 against Edwin Hurtado. Slider, strike 1. Yankees 2 and Seattle nothing. Swung through it, 0-2.
All the focus on Doc Gooden's pitching without that spectacular catch by Gerald Williams in the first inning. This could be quite a different ball game.
Drops down sidearm, and that pitch is a little bit low. Leyritz, the Yankee DH tonight. Ruben Sierra in left field. And a swing and a miss to end the 8th inning. And now the Yankees and the Mariners have played 8 innings. The Yankees lead it 2-0, and Dwight Gooden is heading out for the 9th inning. You see the live score through 8 innings. Dwight Gooden in search of his 2nd Yankee win. And he wants a new baseball to begin the 9th. Just 109 pitches through the first 8 innings.
Yeah, and those 4 walks were in the first 3 innings when Doc still was searching for command of his fastball.
Alex Rodriguez, the 20-year-old shortstop. Gooden started out each hitter last inning with a cold strike and a curveball for strike 1. Rodriguez has reached once on a walk back in the 3rd. Taken for a strike. Gooden, in his first outing as a Yankee in Texas, gave up 2 home runs. Has not allowed a home run since. This ball is fouled out of play. Leadoff man in the 9th inning with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. I told you the crowd seemed much larger than it was initially announced. 31,000 actually in the ballpark. And boy, are they being treated to a spectacle tonight. All even now at 2-2. Mel Stoudemire was all smiles on the bench. Ken Griffey Jr. is on deck. And then Edgar Martinez. But this is the first batter, Alex Rodriguez. And Gooden goes to another full count.
And there's going to be a lot of Yankee players running to the bathroom as soon as this game's over, because as you notice, Joe Torre and the rest of them, they haven't moved since about the 3 innings. You don't change positions.
Not close, and that's ball 4.
Well, the dilemma that Joe Torre has right now, the pitch count at 113. This is the most pitches Doc has thrown in a big league game in well over a year and a half. And they're not about to take him out, but yet with a 2-0 score, there's also tough decisions to be made by Joe Torre in preserving the win.
And back to the phone goes the Yankee pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre. Gooden blowing on his hand as he has done all night. The next 2 hitters could be the toughest 2 in baseball. Back to back. Ball 1 to Ken Griffey Jr. Nobody is seated in this ballpark. The curve gets the outside part of the plate.
Breaking late and over the outside corner.
This ball is hit slowly. Fielded by Martinez to the bag with a dive. In time.
Decision by Tito Martinez. Doc was not going to be there in time for him to make the toss. So he makes the headlong dive and just gets to first base ahead of his former teammate.
Still seated. 1 out now in the 9th. A runner at second base. And Edgar Martinez, the American League batting champ, at the plate. Girardi blocks it. Rodriguez walked and went to second on that ground out.
Yeah, a lot of times in games like this, you have the luxury of a big lead and being able to work differently. Doc Gooden, top concern is winning this game.
No call from Dan Morrison behind the plate on that breaking pitch. Nobody has moved. Dwight Gooden on the mound with a 2-ball, no-strike count to Edgar Martinez. Strike 1.
Pretty good testament to Doc Gooden's fastball in the 9th inning to get Edgar Martinez to start to chase it. Couldn't hold up. That had some late life on it.
He is such a tough hitter, Edgar Martinez. Stottlemyre's loose. On the outside corner, strike 2.
Target.
Tried to get the same spot, and now he goes full to Edgar Martinez. First base is open.
Well, you can't tell the difference when these 2 teams meet, whether it's October or May. They can't play a dull game.
Jay Buhner waiting. Doc Gooden is ready. He went to the hook, and that's ball 4. 2 walks now in the 9th inning. Gooden just threw his 125th pitch of the game.
No trips to the mound. suddenly the focus again goes on winning the ball game instead of what might be in store for Doc from a personal standpoint.
And gets away from Girardi, and 2 runners now will move up. Rodriguez to third, and Martinez down to second base in a 2-0 game. Mel Stottlemyre looks like he wants to get off the bench.
Yeah, yep. Ooh, this is not good. I wouldn't want to be Mel Stottlemyre right now and make this walk.
But here he comes. One of the all-time Yankee great pitchers, now the Yankee pitching coach, going to the mound in the 9th inning.
And he's going to say, now be honest with me, how do you feel? And you know Doc Gooden, and any pitcher that's competitive is going to say, I feel fine. He wants to stay in this game. The only time I can remember a pitcher being taken out of a game like this was, I believe, the first year the Padres were in existence. Clay Kirby was taken out by Preston Gomez in the 9th inning. Because of a low-scoring game and a few walks, Preston had to make a move to try to win the ball game.
Well, Mel has made his point, and he returns quickly to the Yankee dugout. In the meantime, Lou Piniella has made a change. He sent Rich Amaral out to run at second base for Edgar Martinez.
Checking the hitters. Sorrento, the lefty, is due up next.
There's Amaral off the second. The pitch to Buhner on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Fastballs at this point are part arm strength and part adrenaline.
Yankees 2 and the Mariners nothing. Count goes to 2-1 to Jay Buhner. Gooden has walked 2 here in the 9th, 6 in the game. Amaral with a good-sized lead off second. Strike 2. Gooden struck him out back in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Jay Buhner missing. Dwight Gooden has struck out 5, and we're down to the final out. He will pitch from the windup to Paul Sorrento. That's a curveball, strike 1. Sorrento reached on a walk. He is flied out and grounded out 6. Gave it a good look, but didn't ring up the right arm. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs in the 9th. Runners at second and third. 2-1 to count down to Paul Sorrento.
Crowd will be as worn out as they were after last year's division series games.
And the bullpen, they're not watching on TV, they're eyeballing it from a long ways away. Lifted in the air, in the infield. Derek Jeter waiting. Makes the catch. A no-hitter for Dwight Gooden.
After Gooden's no-hitter, there was no one happier than Yankee owner George Steinbrenner, who took a chance on the veteran pitcher.
It's a story that makes you happy. You know, as I say, 23 years in baseball, I can never remember any time a player being carried off the field on the shoulders of his teammates. All the team, which is unique, which is different. And I don't ever recall seeing that.
Gooden finished the 1996 season at 11-7 with a 5.01 ERA. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of Doc's no-hitter against the Mariners. I'm Mike Gleason. Thanks for watching ESPN Classic.